Good morning. There's Frankie. Hello. How are y'all doing? Good morning. Oh, I'm going to put on some makeup. You want to keep me company? I might even do something with his hair, but maybe not. Maybe not till later. I'm still kind of tired. I have had a flu cold that has lasted since a couple days before Christmas. Last night was the first, well, 2 nights. I've had 2 nights of good sleep. Last night was probably the best. But holy moly, it just lingered on like it wasn't getting any better. But I didn't have any signs that I needed antibiotics. It just lingered on. I think mainly because, we were shut down for so long that introverts like me, not getting out and about once the door was unlocked and visiting with other people and getting my immune system built up, it just didn't have I just didn't have the stamina to fight it. I'm still tired. I feel like I might take some vitamin C and vitamin 12 here pretty soon, just to give me some gumption. I need to do some paperwork. Anyway, I've been able to work and sleep pretty much. I've been going through some changes too because I recently lost a friend. He died, and we were very close at one time until a couple years ago when he was just so active and I wasn't doing anything, and because I didn't want to make anybody jealous. Men and women being friends is very risky. He was a work friend, and then, after we quit working together, when I retired, I had to distance. So it's still a heartache because if he could have been my brother or a neighbor, that would have been wonderful. Oh, why am I shouting? I feel like I'm shouting. Anyway, it's just so sad. Just so sad. I don't like it when I don't see it coming. Yeah, when it's caught by surprise. And we weren't close enough for me to, for a long time, for almost 2 years, to know what was really going on with his life and health. So when I heard that he had already passed, it was too late to go to the funeral. I was just kind of soul crushed for a few days. And I know a lot of you know what it's like to lose somebody that you really care about. There's a special something about finding a friend who you really connect with. Kind of almost like a soul level. I know people say that and they get themselves into trouble, but I wasn't willing to get myself into trouble. I knew that it was a work relationship. But I think a lot of you can relate. I really believe that. I know that some people even talk about work husbands or whatever, and it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. Oh, I don't use this because I think it's a little too auburn for me, but it's all right. That's all right. Also, I've been having an interesting relationship with a few of my clients. Not like a personal connection, but I'm having an interesting relationship with some of their stories. So one of the things that I'm noticing about people is that sometimes we have a difficult time. It's a challenge to see ourselves. I haven't heard a whole lot about the Johari window in a long time, but if you know about that, it's similar to, oh, long story short, it's how we see other people, right? Sometimes they don't see in themselves. So it's like that. It's sometimes we see ourselves clearly in certain ways, and some ways we don't see ourselves at all. And other ways we can see ourselves better if someone else tells us. And then we can go, oh, I see. But sometimes people are just oblivious. They just do not, will not, cannot see it, whatever it is, until it's pointed out. In a way that is a spiritual awakening, usually meaning through pain. I guess because I've been tired, I have kind of been challenging a couple of my clients to consider something that I'm seeing in them. And that is to take a look at secrets, not to share them with me, but to look at the secrets that they might be holding. That they think they're working on, or they don't want to work on that because they're just too tired, right? So sometimes when people quit being super abusive, physically or deeply emotionally abusive, well, they're still, for example, then they're still sarcastic and a little fork-tongued. They might not be hitting anymore, or they might not be completely disappearing anymore, but they're just not emotionally available. So, where's my eyeliner? This ain't no eyeliner. This is eyebrow stuff that I just put on. Can you use it for eyeliner? Probably not. It's probably too moist. I know I have one. Where might it be? Nope. Well. So, anyway, one of my clients took a look at it and admitted that there was definitely some work that could be done. And man, I have so many eyeliners. I'm a dang happy woman. Okay. Oh, this is a lippy. Oh, I'm very happy. Okay. Lip. I gotta separate those. Okay. Eek. And these are eyeliners. Yeah, we gotta do something here. So anyway, it was amazing when you watch somebody go, oh no, it's so much better. I'm not doing, and then they stop and they're like, yeah, I still do yell. I still do have a mouth on me. And I was just thinking, whoa. I had that intuition, but what a gift to watch somebody crack that Johari window open just a little bit for them and have them breathe in that fresh air and feel safe enough to have the courage to open up and share. I mean, what a blessing to get to watch that. I can tell you that as hard as some people want to change, it's very difficult to do unless you can get to a certain level of honesty that's just like a exhale, like a surrender. Quit fighting. Surrender doesn't mean to humiliate yourself or to call yourself a loser. It's to say, I just quit fighting. I cease fighting. Anything and anyone, because it's just not worth it anymore. The payoff just isn't worth it. There's no payoff except destruction. And if you want to be seen as a good partner, a good daughter, son, mother, father, there has to be a place in your heart that you're resolved. That, okay, who wants a parent that's yelling and screaming? Who wants a wife or a husband who's yelling and screaming? And I know I have heard people say over and over again, why do I have to, when they're wrong too, why do I have to be the one to change first? And I know I have talked about anger before, fear, PTSD. I talk about it a lot. And I do that because people don't like to admit that that's what they're experiencing. Whether it's law enforcement, in a relationship, at work, people just don't like to admit it. It's human. Nobody wants to be vulnerable like that. I get that. I understand that completely. It's hard to say, yeah, I have an anger problem. Or yeah, I have trouble just even relaxing. I have trouble just even relaxing. So it's like some people stove because of their experiences or because of the way they think. Their stove is always on low. Some people, the stove is always on medium. And sometimes the stove is always on high and just needs one little tick to push it over to boil. So when it comes down to a high intensity challenge or situation or even a traffic accident or something much more serious, those triggers are ready to explode. I'm surprised at how many people struggle with that. And I'm always so blessed to see people working on those kind of issues. It's amazing, it's wonderful, and I love it. The problem is, people need to be able to Hi, I'm on the phone. Okay. Do you need my help with something? No, ma'am. Those aren't new bedroom slippers, are they? Or house slippers? No. Huh. I gotta order some new house slippers. Don't want to run low on something. When you find something you like, you want to order two. People sometimes are under this impression that if they give themselves pep talks, oh, you can do this, you can do this, next time, that it'll change. People who do not have anger problems, people who do not have passionate feelings, that might work for. But if you're a high octane person, it takes much more than that to change. It takes almost physical pain on a cellular level to be able to just keep your mouth closed in a stressful situation, or to comply until the situation is over. Because all these thoughts instantly surface. I know for me, when I used to lose my temper, you would have thought I was one of those after-school specials with that rebellious punk teenager that just could not keep their dang mouths shut and stay out of trouble. Oh my God. How was that story? Holy moly. It just didn't make any sense. Blend that a little more so it's not quite so obvious. When I say that it can hurt on a cellular level, that's what I mean. Because when you experience the things, or were born with the neural pathways that go straight to fight, flight, or freeze, to be able to knock that 18-wheeler off the road and into a different direction, you have to work at it. It is not going to be easy. People make it look like it's so easy. And if you take, the shortcut and do it with medicine, that can be a helpful tool. I'm not saying it can't. But along with that, hopefully you're not so drugged you can't make decisions and think about situations and practice. Yeah, if medication works for you, do that. But that's not what I'm talking about today. I'm not talking about medication today. I'm talking about change in thought and attitude. Change in the way your brain works. And it can happen. I've seen it happen. I've experienced it happening with me. And there's just no more, I can't think of something that's more rewarding then maybe helping your child make better decisions and watch them make better decisions. To be a good role model and see the look on your kid's face when they go, wow, you're such a good mom. Or be able to listen to your advice because it makes sense to them. Like, oh, that's why you do that. Yeah. I don't know. I know one of the things that I've watched people do for a very long time, and that is to keep fighting, to keep fighting, to keep fighting. And a lot of therapists talk about letting go of shame. Don't carry that guilt. Don't do this or do that. Well, yeah, on a large scale, nobody should be living their life like that. That's a horrible way to live. But if you can let yourself admit that you're ashamed of how, whoops, sorry about that, that you're ashamed and embarrassed of how you act when you behave in a certain way, when you lose your temper, or when you're jealous of someone, whatever it is that you're doing, what smoking, stealing magazines from waiting rooms. I did that for a long time. It was like there was hardly a waiting room that I went to that didn't have at least, one magazine that I was like, oh, I want to finish this article, or oh, I like those pictures in there. And instead of just ordering the magazine and getting my own, I would just roll it up, stick it in my bag. That's theft. Someone donated that magazine to that waiting room or bought it. I used to donate magazines to recovery houses or inpatient facilities. But even once I swiped from somebody else's waiting room. God. And then one of the ways I was able to stop doing that, because it was embarrassing, I had to admit to myself that it was embarrassing that I did that. And that if somebody found out that I was doing it, and here I am sharing it with you, I was so embarrassed. There for a while, I wouldn't have told anybody I was doing that. Heck no. I can't see myself in my other mirror. There we go. It's really curly. It's right in here. If my hair could stay as curly as this section right here on each side, I call it my neck temples. Oh man, I'd be so happy. I love having curl. It's just gets to where it looks so unruly. So anyway, it's okay to feel ashamed of one thing at a time, where you're just like, let yourself know, I'm too ashamed to eat my third milkshake. I'm too ashamed to smoke a whole pack of cigarettes in one sitting. It's okay to just pick one thing so that your brain needs to hear, this is not okay. It is not okay for me to, oh, this happened one time. This was four dogs ago. I've had one dog. He lived till the old age. He was adopted from the Humane Society. I love that dog. He was my favorite, Gordy. But when I got him, he was my first child ever. And I wasn't the best parent. And one time, I don't know what he did. I don't know what he did. Oh, okay. He was the perfect dog, but for some reason, some unknown reason, he's never done it before or after. But this one lady had a tiny miniature poodle. And I lived across the street from a park, and we had dog people that clung together. We'd walk around the park. It had a circle in it. There was art in the park. There was movie in the park. There was Saturday market. I mean, it was just such a wonderful gathering place. Anyway, she had this cutest little toy poodle. I mean, itty bitty. And my dog pounced on it like it was a toy. Just went woof like that on it. And she freaked out and was so, her adrenaline shot up. And I don't blame her. But anyway, she was like, your dog could have killed my dog or injured it, broke its back. And she picked up that little thing and she was yelling at me while she was heading out. So anyway, I was mortified. That's why I'm very apprehensive about any dog. As much as you love it and trust it, you can't anticipate sometimes things that are going to happen. I'm sorry, there are things sometimes that just happen. Anyway, I was mortified out in public. Not many people were around, and it was raining, and I was living out in Portland, Oregon, and I never liked the rain out there. I lived out there way too long. Went out there for a relationship and then just kind of got stuck because I didn't know where I wanted to go, so I just stayed. Then when we went in the house, I had trained him to lay down so I could wipe his feet off. Every time we came in the house, even when it was a sunny day out, we would go through the motions. Even if I didn't feel like wiping his feet off, we'd go through the motions. Even if I didn't touch his feet, he laid down, got on his side, and got ready for me to wipe off his feet. Well, evidently, one day, he was being a little slow about it. I don't remember exactly how it went down, but he was either being slow about it for some reason, or I don't know what he didn't lay down real well. And I just yelled at him, gave him hell. Lay down, and I mean it. Oh my God, my temper just, there are mothers out there who will finally admit, yeah, I did that to my kid one time, right? It happens. Sometimes we're just not our best selves. And it happens. And then if we do a repair, it's a learning tool. But dogs don't, it's harder for them to have a conversation. They have to go on feeling. So when I saw, I haven't had a facially expressive dog since I've had that dog. So it was very interesting for me and heartbreaking to see the look on his face. That dog helped me grow as a human being because his face would reflect where I was at. I'm mostly a happy person, especially mornings, especially on a sunny day. You can't keep me from being happy. Chipper. Mornings are usually pretty good for me. This year has been very stressful and strenuous as far as my health goes, and some losses. So I've been tired. So I'm making excuses, but it's true. So anyway, I really made it up to Gordy, my dog. And I learned that yelling just was, it's only for emergencies. Yelling is something we don't need to do. And I know there was a lady who I worked with a long time ago. I had her for a client for some time, and I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad she trusted me because we did some amazing work together. She was like, well, I'm from a Greek family, or, well, everybody in my family yells. Well, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, that's, when in Rome, do as the Romans, I guess. But when you're at work in the culture you're in, good or bad, if you want to remain in that culture, you are probably going to want to assimilate so that your life goes better, right? And so we did little experiments to see how she would feel about how people reacted to her when she wasn't getting upset, when she used other tools. But it was interesting because she came to me one time and said, it's not working so great. I said, I wonder why. Why isn't it working so great? You were doing really great. She goes, well, I started this new meditation thing, and it says that you can work through your anger and your frustrations by doing these meditations and, going out into the world, and you're more at peace. She goes, but I'm losing my temper. I said, because you switch one out for the other. You can do both. I know. I see a lot on when I watch these videos on changing your personality, basically, enough to be able to assimilate in an environment that you want to assimilate with, especially if you want to have an intimate relationship with someone who's not afraid of you, right? I don't want to have a relationship with someone who's afraid. I don't want to create a relationship with someone who's afraid of me. That's not what I want. I don't want a dog that's afraid of me. Holy cow. So anyway, I said, don't trade one for the other. You can still pray, meditate. Yeah, a lot of the comments will say, you're just not depending on God enough. I read that yesterday when I was listening to it. I like the body language people. There's, three or four of them that I watch their videos on YouTube once in a while. And, well, you know what? That's good enough. That's good enough. And, in honest to goodness, still people are saying, you obviously haven't prayed about it. And it's like, where in the world would they get that from the video that was just shown? Or that person hadn't prayed about it, or what have you. Or if you pray hard enough. Just very interesting. I think all of it works well together. Just decide how much you, when people say, God will provide the, ingredients for a cake, or I need to take snacks to school for my kids, God will provide. Okay, maybe. I heard somebody say one time, God provided me this van that fits all of my 6 kids in it. It's like, the mother that you disrespect, every time you talk to her as if she's a scum of the earth, she bought you that van. Brand new off the lot, still trying to kiss up to you and still not earning your respect. That's who bought the van, not God. Did God influence her to do that so that you could be thankful to God and still treat her like crap? I don't know. So when people just throw that around, it makes me wonder. When I pray, I do it like, oh, someone told me one time that, and I wish I could quote it out of the Bible, and I guess I should look it up. Dang it. About being modest about prayer. Go in a closet and pray. You can pray from a mountaintop if you want, which can be beautiful when you want to share a prayer, when you want to connect. Just saw another rich pastor going down a road that I'm not even curious about because it's happened so many times now. You know, I'm humble about my relationship with God, and I don't expect that other people have to have the same God as me. I do know that I want to work on myself. I don't ask God just to help me remove this. It's give me the strength and the power. Bless me with it right now to go forward and not sin again. I have to look at the way I would yell at my husband as a sin. I had to look at the way I would yell as something to be ashamed of. That was the one thing, right? I'd had to be embarrassed. If I had a camera hooked up in my living room to see some of these arguments, would I want the public to see that? No, I would be so, not just embarrassed, I would be ashamed, right? So when I started doing that behavior, thank goodness that little Johari window was open enough that I was able to take a look at what I looked like, what I sounded like, and what kind of relationship would that human being want to have with someone like me, and me still expecting, you're coming back, aren't you? Like the way that facial expression was on my dog. I love my dogs almost as much as any human, but I'm treating a human being like that. If I had been a dude and my spouse was a woman, oh my God, nobody would approve of that. But I've watched other women get so aggressive that they're like, you got to tell them what's what. Well, I'm sorry, that's not how I want to approach anybody on the planet. That's not where I want my energy up at. Whether it's a culture that I grew up in or not. And even if I go into a culture that's like that, I'm uncomfortable now. I don't want that energy up so high. And I want to be able to live in a glass house where what I do, what I say, I know God's watching. God's watching. So if I can't do it in front of God, why would I want to do it in front of you? Yeah. So when I watch other people able to grow in that way, it blows my mind. I'm so grateful I'm not alone in this quest to be better. The quest to just be better. And now I don't have shame. I was able to release myself from shame by doing the hard work. Did I have help from God? Probably. But I had the muscle power to do it. Yeah, to be able to shut, withstand the discomfort, withstand the pain, withstand the shame of not standing up for myself, and being able to balance that out with the reward of not being ashamed of how I was behaving. It's a journey. It's a journey. Trust me. The reason why I get excited about working with others on this topic is because I know what it feels like to go through the journey, to be able to go through the discomfort, to say the very least, of stop thought, change thought, stop behavior, change behavior, and then to also the freedom to feel like butter, because I have nothing to be ashamed of. But if something comes up, I'll work on it. Yeah. All right, I'm going to let you go. I've been preaching long enough, and I got stuff to do. I've been laying around, finally caught up on laundry, chipped away at it, finally cleaned out the refrigerator, just chipping away at it because I've been feeling so low on energy. I did go and get a liver enzyme test. My liver's working perfectly. So that's always a good sign for me. Yay! So it really was just the flu, cold. I probably had them back to back. And then I think I had a little food reaction to some, oh my God, it gives me a weird feeling just thinking about it. You know how they are always selling those mushroom powders to go in your coffee? Ugh. I put a teaspoon of that in my coffee. And I added a little cayenne pepper. Just a little bit. I must have accidentally got too much. And a little bit of cinnamon, which I think I got too much of in. Mix that up, thinking it was going to be good for me to help me heal. I threw up for a couple hours. So anyway, I threw away that mushroom powder. Matter of fact, I'm getting ready to throw away the matcha powder. You know, there's some things they're saying are just so good for you. But I'm going to tell you, matcha, that ground up tea leaves, I forgot why they say it, but it smells like fish. And I don't eat fish. I don't like fish. I don't like the smell of fish. I don't want a fish tank of fish because I don't like the smell. I don't care how clean you keep it. I don't care. I know the potential is there. It's like I don't want milk sitting around that's on the edge. You know what I mean? Like, it smells okay right now, but sorry, I still have a bit of my cold. But oh, my dog's gone. He left me. Anyway, I'm getting my sense of humor back and my spiciness. So no, this is just coffee with a little international delight in it. It's as good as hot chocolate on that level. Gosh, I like that so much. All right, y'all. I hope you have a blessed day. I hope that if you have a challenge in your life, you're ready to face it and you're ready to do something about it. Because like my friend who passed away, I think there's a thing or two he would have liked to have done before he passed away. I really do. There's a thing or two I would have liked him to have been able to experience. That's for sure. God. It's hard to lose somebody that you care about. But I'll see him in heaven. I still let myself pout a little bit here and there. I know it's been a little while since he passed. It's been a couple months now. But I didn't find out it's been several months, but I only found out a month ago. So it's still kind of fresh for me. Yeah, the older you get, the more people you lose, right? Well, if nobody told you you're worth it today, you're worth it. You are worth it. Do the work because you're worth it. All right. Mwah. Bye for now.